Hi everyone, Neon back here. Today we're going to be looking at how to make an advanced character, or how to rig up some new stuff on the character, maybe a new limb. In this case I got a backlight. And how to make a character's jaw open like a flap jaw, so like when they're talking, or the player's talking through their controller input, and also how to do blinking. So first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to attach everything to our character. So right now there's some things that are just not grouped. So let's get the easy part done, and let's group our models to the puppet so it moves with the puppet. And in order to do that, you just grab it and then do L1 and X when you're hovering over the body part that it should be attached to. So now this backpack is attached to the base. Then we're going to take these eyes and we are going to attach them to the head. And then our mouth we actually want to keep as a separate object, because we are going to be using connectors for that. So let's get that done. So you're probably going to want to get a bolt for the mouth, or this type of mouth at least, because we're going to make it open and close like it's a flap jaw. Flap jaw is a specific kind of a, like, it's just a specific kind of a jaw in like animation and stuff like that. For example, dummies use them, and the Canadians in South Park have flap jaws as well. Well, kind of, not exactly, but kind of. So now this jaw should be attached to the head like this. Yep. Let's see. Gonna move this connector so it's kind of like in the back there, and if you lose your connector you can find it again by using X-ray. And if you don't see connectors at all, then you have to turn this on in the show and hide menu. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. Let's set up some limits here. So with this on, we'll be able to tell it how far it can move. So I only want it to be able to go that far, because I don't want it to be able to open, close any farther. And let's see here. I only want it to open about this far. So there we go. And now when we play it, you may notice that, okay, it drops. Well, if you don't want it to be affected by gravity, you can just make it not movable. And you can probably make it... Oh no, you do want it movable. Just ignore gravity. That should work. There we go. Yep. Maybe turn off collisions. We are going to be modifying it anyway. The only reason we have it like this in the first place, connected, is to help us later in the animating. So now let's get our backpack all set up. So we already have the main part attached, so let's hook up this arm. And generally you're going to want stuff positioned in the middle. And it doesn't matter too much where this yellow one is positioned. It's usually just to help you understand like what the bone structure is. So now this part moves with that. And we can set up some limits with that too if we wanted to. But we are going to go and just continue building. And use limits, but I want this now. So actually get this directly connected. And I'm using reposition connectors, so repositioning connectors allows you to move the models or the elements it's attached to. Alright, and now let's get this one. And then for this one, I guess it's kind of preference if you want this to be stable or not. But we're going to put another ball joint on here. And if you don't want it to, for example, be able to rotate all around and just in one, you just want to rotate around a point rather than a ball joint, that's what this is for, the bolt. It gives you movement like that instead of like this. And now this is going to be fully articulated for us. I'm not sure why this isn't moving when we were moving that. I don't know. Okay, so now we're able to move around this boy and this guy over here. You can see falls down when we hit play. So now we need to start animating. Now you may be asking yourself, why do I have to animate? Why can't it just do it for me? Well, that's because the puppet can only animate these bones, so it will only automatically animate those. So we need to make our own animations. This is kind of a little bit busy, so I'm gonna delete this stuff. We want the run and the jump. Controller as well, sound effects as well, auto guide as well. Now, first thing I want to do here is we're gonna do the flap jaw. Flap jaw is pretty easy. We are going to do first off, I think what we want is we want 2 keyframes. One of them is going to be with the mouth closed, and we're going to rotate that with L2. And then the other one is going to be open. And now from here we can take a output from here, and on the very last page, miscellaneous IO, there's microphone. So it detects how loud your microphone is. And I believe it's like 0 to 1, so we can just hook that up to this keyframe and it will open and close with our mouth. But first of all, we want to make sure that when we're not talking, it is 0. So now if we play, and I think if we speak into our microphone, I don't think I have one hooked up to my PlayStation other than my camera. Maybe I have it disabled. Hold on. Oh, you know what? I think we need to actually control it. Hello? No? Maybe? Yes? No? Let's see here. Let's go into test mode and see the output. Yeah, it is outputting, just not very strong. So we probably want to amplify it somehow, or we could just get a NOT gate here, output this instead. Now when we talk, his mouth opens, as you can see. It's all opening like that. That's how you do a flap jaw. Now you can probably refine it a bit, by amplifying the signal rather than just seeing if it's on or off, because maybe you're screaming into the microphone and the mouth is just going to be open the entire time. So, yeah. Alright, so we can actually make this a bit springy, so it's less harsh. Let's try that. Let's see how that looks. Okay. No, doesn't look too good. Well, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. Let's try making a slow power up. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's a bit more smoother. So that's good. Alright, now we probably want to get blinking, because that's going to be probably the next easiest thing. So next we are going to want to sculpt some actual, like, eyelids, because right now we do not have anything to cover the eyes. Now you could just cop out and instead of, you know, making eyelids, you could just make the color of the eyes black. But we're gonna make eyelids because why not? So that's about the right size. Yep. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the tools and get cutout. And I'm going to use the cube shape, shrink it down, and cut it just in half, like that. And what I'm going to do is make these not movable and not collidable. And I'm going to get a nice default state for them, like open. Then we are going to go into the puppet with this. Alright. And that's going to be our open state. As you can see, eyelids follow them. And now we are going to get we're going to make it random. We're going to make them blink at random. So what first we're going to want to do is place a microchip down to put all our logic in, and then we're going to get a randomizer. And this is going to give us a basically random moment where he blinks. So what we're going to do is we are going to make it at 10 for now, and we can make it so he'll only blink if he lands on A. And of course we need to randomize the input, so what we're going to do is we're going to get a pulse for that. We want him to be able to blink like every 2 seconds. We're going to check if he blinks, and we're going to plug the timer finish pulse into the reset timer, so that way it will constantly pulse out, and we're going to get that randomized. And now we are going to get a keyframe, and we are going to go in to this, and we are going to close the eyes with this screen. Just do the best as possible job you can. Alright, and we are going to hook up A to this, and what we're going to do is we're going to make a slow power up and slow power down. And now he should blink, or be able to blink randomly. let's actually make this a bit faster so we can get the chance of seeing him blink. There we go. Great, now we got blinking and we got flapjaw, and now let's get this arm animated. Hi everyone, okay, so we kind of messed up a little bit earlier. In order to do this next step, I did some investigating and found some issues that we had. So we had this arm connected to his back, but what we want to do is we want to make his new arm actually part of his back. Now if you were making like an actual physical arm, like to go onto here, you'd probably not want to do this. You'd probably want to connect it how we had it previously. You notice this connector's gone. That's because I had already done this, but I need to redo it now. So what we're going to do is we're going to select everything we have. So our light and then our arm pieces, and we are going to pick it up and scope into our backpack, and I'm going to position it correctly again, and I'm going to reconnect it with a connector. And we want this not movable. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to make all of our limbs, we want them to be not movable, and we want them to ignore gravity. And then we want to go into our light, and we want everything in here to not be movable and to ignore gravity. And we also want our group to be movable. And once I get this rigged properly, it's working. Alright, it doesn't exactly have to be perfect, but whatever you can do, you know. Alright, you notice some flailing around here, that's fine. I want to get our on state first, actually. That's what I want to do first. Because I want to make sure our connector is positioned correctly. So, let's see. That's what I want our on state to be. Yeah, that connector does not appear to be connected properly, but then again, that arm is not entirely placed correctly. So let's see here. Let's see. I want this to be more up front, and I want this to be the middle of our lights. Want to reposition connectors. Alright, that looks good to me. And why don't we use... I think we're going to make our default or off state first. Do that. I'm going to do this. And then now it's looking good. I like that bending action we have. So that's our off state. And what I'm going to do is we're going to place a microchip, a new one. You're going to label it what you want. I have it with that color. And in here we are going to animate it. So we need a keyframe. And what we're going to do is we are going to make sure we're scoped in, and I'm going to grab each of these parts. So now they're all grabbed and they're all keyframed. Alright, and then I want to do the on state, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you know what, we might as well, I want to have this off, the light turned off. So I'm going to do that. And then I will get our on state. I'm going to do a keyframe for that. But first what we're going to do is we're going to actually move it into position. And this way we have a... This way we can move it without having to use the move keyframed. We're gonna basically move it into place, and we're actually probably gonna keyframe it. Not entirely sure. Let's see. Does that look good? I think I want it to be like this. There we go. That looks good. I like that. Alright, and we're gonna open this keyframe, and we're gonna record the position for all of this. Again, make sure you're scoped in correctly. Alright, and then next we're gonna want the same keyframe, but without this, and we're going to turn on the light here. Let's do nice and bright, so 40%. Alright, and now we're going to need a node, and this is going to be the node for what button we want to turn on the light, and I want to, let's do L1. Yeah, I like that. And if you want it to toggle, what we're going to do is get a signal manipulator out, and we're going to open up the properties panel, go to customer mapper, and we're going to toggle output on. You don't have to worry about anything else in there. And go ahead and plug in the node to the signal manipulator, and then we're going to want a NOT gate. And we're going to plug this signal manipulator into the NOT gate, then plug this into the keyframe, and then we want to get another signal manipulator, and we're going to plug that signal manipulator, and we're going to plug the first signal manipulator into the second one, and we're just going to do some output smoothing, so it's going to take about 3 seconds in order to turn on the lights entirely. Not 3 seconds, but 0.3 seconds. I'm going to get a calculator out. We're going to do equals 0.03. And then we're going to want to get a NOT gate and an AND gate. Okay, and then we're going to plug in the signal manipulator, the first one, into this AND gate. Then we're going to plug in the second signal manipulator into the equals, or A, of the calculator, and B is 0.03. And we'll plug that result into the NOT gate, plug that into the AND gate, and then we're going to plug in the calculator result to the second keyframe in the on state, and then we're going to plug in the AND gate into the first keyframe in the on state. Alright, and let's see how that looks now. Well, obviously, it does not look like it wanted to cooperate with us. So, let's try to move this back into the correct position. Wow, that really didn't want to cooperate with us. Okay. Maybe we didn't have this keyframed, I'm not sure. Alright, that looks good to me. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, we don't want it to bend like that, so we are going to go ahead and rotate these with L2. That looks good. And then let's go into test mode, which is under modes and then the controller. Do L1. L1 again. Now it snaps between the two positions. But we aren't getting the signal that we want. So let's see here. Why is that happening? Equals 0.03. Oh, 0.3. That's why. At this point, I really wish we still had the debug tool. Okay, it says it's 1. Okay. Why is that? Oh, because I'm not very smart right now because I'm tired. Okay, yeah, so it's going to be equals 1. Not 0.03, not 0.3, but equals 1. Okay. See if this works. Test mode. Yes, that does what we want it to. And we do actually want it to have that delay and then the shakiness that you can see. That wobbliness is actually what we want for the next step, and that's going to have the light actually point at its target. So first of all, what I want to do is I want to smooth this out a bit. So let's do a slow power up for the first keyframe of the on state and the first keyframe of the off state, which there's only one keyframe. So that looks a little bit smoother, which is better. You can adjust it more if you want. So I actually want it better because I'm a stickler. So let's change the first and second. The first keyframe of the on state to be 1 for the smooth up and down, and the off keyframe to be 1 as well. And then we're going to do the output smoothing to be 1 second, 1.1 second on the signal manipulator. Right? Let's see how that looks. That looks a lot better. There's some shakiness, but that's fine. Alright. And now, the real test to see if this really works is we want to actually, I guess, go into test mode. I'm going to turn this on. And let's see, why is this not working? Oh, because we're paused. There we go. I'm going to pause it. And we want to keep it there. So do not go backwards. So don't reset time. And now we want to go into our eye, not our eye, but our light bulb. And we want to make a new sculpt. And this is going to be just a place to place a microchip on. So we're going to make it pretty small. And we are going to snap it to the grid. And we're just going to place it anywhere pretty much. And let's undo the grid and let's turn on precise move. Get it somewhere relatively to the middle. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to also make it invisible and not collidable. And not movable. I think we have the other ones? Yeah, okay. And that's just going to be a base to put our look at rotator. So yeah, we're going to put a look at rotator on this cube. And we're going to change the tag name to target. Alright, and then we want to make the rotation strength 100% and the overall dampening 100%. Turn up that speed a bit. And now, you can see it's shaking a bit. Let's see if this works. Let's get a target to look at. And we're going to name the tag target as well. And let's go into test mode. Oh, it is working, but we didn't set it up entirely properly. I forgot to change the direction that it's supposed to look in. So let's get that fixed. Alright, there we go. And let's grab that rotator. And we're going to change the arrow position to be going right or forward. There we go. And now, look at that. It's going to look at the target. And now we can go into play mode. And you can see it's a little bit shaky. What we can do to fix that is we're going to make the joints stronger. So go ahead and select the joints on the arms. And we are going to increase the springiness just a bit. Not too much, or else that will happen. So yeah, you probably only want just before that happens. So I think we might not even be able to get away with springiness. I don't know, let's see. I don't think we are. Okay, well the springiness and connector on this. Oh, no, that's not what we want. Yeah, definitely don't want springiness. Springiness doesn't work for us. Okay. So, let's see here. See if we can get this. Does that look good? You may want to limit your speed or something, because it looks like it's gonna shake no matter what. But that looks good. Relatively good. I mean, it doesn't look terrible. I mean, it's better than not having a cool robotic arm to have a flashlight come out and point at something. I mean, I think that looks good. It's like a little Pixar lamp. Alright, well, that was my, I guess, advanced character tutorial. or rigging tutorial for the arm, and then we got the character eye blinking, and then the flap jaw. So yeah, I guess that is pretty advanced for a character. We got a new limb set up. We got a blinking setup. That's not blinking. This is blinking. And then we got a what was this again? Oh yeah, flapjaw setup. Yep, there it is. Alright, so hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead and leave your requests in the comments below. Have a nice rest of your day. Bye. Bye.